So today's agenda is going to be on a strategy execution challenge. What is a challenge that people are experiencing right now? Then we'll talk about the PMP certification demand, and then the PMP examination roadmap, and then next steps that you should be taking, and then how you could be working with us to get your requirements completed and have the confidence to take the exam. Okay, so time for the next poll. And I think we did this also. When do you plan to get your certification? Is it in the next 30 to 60 days? Is it 90 days to 120 days or longer? Now, we always suggest if you are here, you have started that momentum, right? You have started that momentum. You want to keep going. The minute you lose the momentum, it just takes longer time to get through it. So you are project professionals. Take this head on like a project. So because you're here today, and for those of you who stay to the end, we want to make sure that you walk away with some amazing gifts. So the free gifts we have for you is the top 10 mistakes PMP candidates make and how to avoid them so you don't fall into that trap. And the second one is the guiding principles for a high-performing team. So this is what we share with our clients, and they found this to be extremely helpful, so we wanted to share that with you as well. As a thank you for being here. So a little bit about me. I describe myself as a rebel. If you tell me you can't do something, I will find a way to get it done. And that's what I've done all my life. Many people don't know this, but I used to be bedridden with chronic illness, 3 times of autoimmune issues, and the doctor said, Seema, we can make you as comfortable as possible, but this is how your life is going to be forever. I just had a baby, and I said, you know what? I don't think so. And I found a way to heal myself and be able to do all the wonderful things I am doing. I love being in project management. I've been doing this for the last 25 years. We've run our businesses for the last 25 years, helped over 100,000 professionals get trained and certified in project management, in the various certifications of project management, not all PMP. And I had the opportunity to share my journey in an anthology with Dr. John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus series. And since then, after publishing with him, I've published 6 more books. All have become #1 international best-selling books on Amazon. And when I'm not doing project management, I'm helping people write their business books, their legacy books, share their message into the world. I'm also PMI's ATP instructor. And to tell you a little bit more about Dipendra, it was his vision to get into project management and start the company. And under his leadership, we have had some tremendous growth. He is also a 3-time best-selling author. He comes from a humble background. He went from, his life started in a village to working for NASA and traveling the world. Now he is a trendsetter, and it brings in a lot of innovation around project management and how companies and individuals can become the top leaders in their industry. And one of the things that, go ahead, can you go to the next slide? Okay. So let's talk about PMI. The project management certifications we're going to be talking about, particularly PMP, is from a nonprofit body called Project Management Institute. They started in 1969, and I'm happy to say that Dipendra and PMI are exactly the same age. I gave it away, Upin. I told them your age.
All right.
You can't do the same for me, though. And the key activity that PMI does is really on the certification, education, research, advocacy, and really promoting the profession of project management at all levels. And so they have created this project management body of knowledge that we all refer to as PMBOK, and the current edition is the 7th edition.
So, Seema, thank you for giving this introduction. I thought, let me just say, uh, try and put the perspective, what we have done so far. And uh, somebody said the best way to predict the future is by creating it. You know, and PMI always in the front runner to set the trend, especially when it comes to bringing change, right? So future project management is not only about managing project. I would say it's about leading change, right? So how many of us will agree to this? Change is coming with this, I will call it hyper change. It's not a regular change. I would say the world is seeing unprecedented times, right? So how do we see it? And why are we talking about it? What is happening in the world? So, and why all of a sudden everybody's talking about project management? You know, so there's a massive talent gap. Almost about 45 million project managers would be needed by 2035. You guys are here for a treat, for sure. Because, with the discomfort, disruption, I would say AI around the corner. People say what AI is meant for, what is going to do. I said dull, dangerous, and disruption. It would be addressing those three areas. But I add another D, that's called daring. Project managers will combine the power of three: project management, change management, and AI coming together. I think we will see a very different world. Organizations are at risk. Companies without certified PMPs face delivery delays, cost overruns, and failed initiatives. We know this, uh, for sure. But on top of this, we cannot live, we can't afford to miss out on the opportunity with the digital transformation is here with the possibility and the promises it offers, right? And most people find because they are feeling um, as if they are stuck because what change is happening so fast. It's like this: you have only been riding bicycle and remember teenage age, and then somebody said, Let's hop on the car," and we try to get on the highway, right? And you have to go 60 miles an hour, for example, just to be in the right, so that you can cope up with the speed of other vehicles around you, right? The challenge which you're facing just being on the highway, this is exactly what people are facing today. And this is what we see. I personally have reached out to more than 500 people in last 2 months and had deeper detailed discussion with those people. Some of you might be on the call also. If you heard that I spoke to you just to understand what is happening, please say yes on that you and I spoken. And then we said, you know what? I'm going to incorporate your inputs in this presentation. The global competition, PMP now is a global standard. We know it. And if you don't move, somebody else will. You know, so and let's look at the opportunity on hand. Opportunity on hand today, about 90 million people are in the project management oriented environment, PMOE, right? They would be adding 25 million by 2030, and they keep adding almost 2.3 million jobs every year. And then of course people who are retiring. This data is before government decided to curtail the employability, and especially for retirement, right? So I started seeing a lot of influx in our conversations. People who work for government sector, they started looking around because what could be the opportunity elsewhere. They had been very deep into in a functional role, but from a functional role to a projectized mindset where you are more like an integrator, those roles would be increased further. So you will see additional input coming to as your opportunities coming will increase year on year. But what I saw, what I've seen in last 25 years, and this next slide is going to do the numbers don't lie. And I tell you, I picked up this number from PMI. 90 million people worldwide are in the PMOE, right? but 50% of that would be replaced because they will get into project management by 2035. So look at the green circle will start increasing further and further because of replacement and the plus the growth, right? But what is that I noticed that every year about 35 contact hours, which most of about 33% of you got, probably got it from somewhere. You are part of that 1.2 to 1 million people who get trained every year on year, every year. And I've been seeing for last 25 years. But what I have been noticing also, that generally speaking, about 20 to 30% only dare to sit for the exam. Only 20 to 30%. In our case, it had been about 60%. So, and then out of those 60, so look at these numbers. Let me give you the general numbers first. Then I will give our specific numbers. So out of, so out of those people who sit for the exam, about 60 to 70% pass PMP exam. So what does it mean? PMP exam is relatively difficult exam, but what does it do that many a times people don't even dare to sit for the exam. So the gap is huge. We realize this problem. And if you got a, as I said, if you got a call that you had been a PMP, but that was 20 years back, world has changed. So we have to look at it very differently. People who got 35 contact hours of education up to PMBOK, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth version, believe me, we have to look back the certification process back again. And the reason why I'm saying is because I see this huge gap, people who take the classes but never ever sit for the exam, right? So we are here to talk about how do they overcome this challenge. And challenge comes in the form of either fear or failure. All of us are, because it's the basic instinct of human, fear. And especially in front of our loved one, we don't want to fear, we don't want to fail, especially when you are the role model for your children, especially, you know, and you put it off all the time. Procrastination is another challenge, right? And then, of course, lack of structure in the learning process itself. I find that's a roadblocker for most people. And then uncertainty because your readiness is not, you are not completely ready. It's like getting married. You are never ever ready, by the way, you know. So, and then you are overwhelmed because people on the internet today, they're throwing so much content, and lot of content means a lot of clutter, a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, and you are trying to find confidence in out of this. It's impossible. So just sitting in a class, somebody gave you 35 contact hours, it's just not enough. And you have reached to a plateau, especially in your learning, because it's like a sponge. A sponge can only absorb so much water. If the water, you throw water on the floor and you try to throw the sponge, you will notice the sponge can only take so much. You have reached that level. And lack of motivation, because longer you extend this, longer you stretch it, your motivation keeps going down, down, down. And there's a day when you say, I don't know whether it's relevant for me or not, or you also start questioning yourself whether you're competent enough or not. On top of this is the agile mindset barrier, because most of us has never ever, we are forced to behave in agile format, but our we don't have uh, uh, a single bowl of agility and the discipline of using that agile mindset. It's just not there. So we realized this problem. We looked at it. We went deeper in it. I personally had made 500 calls, as I said, and I'm trying to understand how can we of use to these people, because our record says that here 20% to 30% will sit for the exam. Our case had been 60%. and 98% will pass PMP with us in last 25 years. That's our record, guys. So what is that magic? And then I look back 25 years. What was we were doing actually? So I realized that the reason what we had been doing, it is a concept, is a mod now it was a thought, became a concept, became a framework actually over last 25 years. I realized that what we were doing now, it's a formal for framework actually. So we talk about, it's like you get intuition, you build inspiration on top of that, and you set the intent. That's what we work with you right on day one, nailing your intent. The second one is your, we will sit with you and do the ideation. And then, of course, you take the capability, capacity, what will go in the process, and then you execute like a project. Implementation has to be the way you go about your project program or portfolio. And that's what we have incorporated. And I will explain this thing to you further. And after you go through the implementation process, you create an impact for yourself and the people around you, the company you work for. And then during that process, you develop your own insights, your own wisdom, and your gut, your confidence, your conviction, your intuition increases further. And it goes back to that continuous improvement cycle from number 7 to number 1. So, by the way, you must have noticed this is nothing but the rainbow colors, which you see on the rainbow, right from red to all the way violet. Also, these are chakras in your body. Root chakra is the red, and the violet chakra is your, beyond your body. So these are the chakras we kind of mapped, and these are based on the energy which you can feel within those chakras. But we go deeper into the class. How do we use this framework to get anything done, including your PMP, which seems to be a roadblock for your career path. So how does it work? So the purpose fog, we remove it by questioning why you want to do PMP. Once this fog is over, then we get into, let's put our brain. So it's like mind has to be set for this inspirational aspect. It has to be part of your mind. Ideation happens in your brain. You and us, we co-create the study plan together because everybody's learning styles are different. And then the intake process is about content overload is the challenge, which we want to overcome by curating high impact content maps that focus on what drives exam performance. Then go to the implementation side of things. That's where, if you don't have a structure, just like you don't have a structure to manage a project, your project of getting PMP would not be met also. So timelines, milestone, rates, logs stands for risk, assumptions, your issues and dependencies. And of course, make it visible. If anything is visible, it will be done because you're out of all 5 senses. The sense which can see, that's why they say in a quote, you have an eyewitness. You don't say ear witness or hear or taste witness, right? You say eyewitness because what you see gets done, right? So we implement what we teach actually. And then readiness doubts. Deliver mock tests, analytics around it, track your readiness and reduce uncertainty. That's the impact which you create, guys, and the insights which you developed out of it. So where you need to focus more, where you need to reduce your focus, because it's all about time. So we always say that 7 steps will walk you through, and we say 7 to 11 week is the total time it should take you to pass your PMP from this day onward. When you attended this webinar, 7 to 11, that's it. If you can't do in 11 weeks, please believe me, we'll talk in next life. And I can tell you one thing. Today, the project managers are not just project managers. These are project managers of the future who will be hybrid of business leaders, technologists, and strategists. So you have to be having business acumen, strategic thinking, technical expertise, adaptive leadership also. So with this, I would like to hand over this Seema. I wanted to throw this question to the people. What's your biggest concern about navigating today's professional landscape? So let us know in the chat. We like to know that one of those seven things, whether it was the confidence, is overwhelming, no time, or motivation. What is holding you back? I think you can put it on the this thing. But guys, most people I've spoken, 33% people have no idea what was sold to them. 33% out of 500 people, 33% and were more eligible for program management certification rather. They were like, they should have considered portfolio management. Like I am a certified portfolio guy. And for those people, your niece, nephew, or children, believe me, they don't have to make the mistakes which you and I have made. Reason being that project management is not a thing that gets done and when you are in the workplace for 10 years. Believe me, trust me, today's future ready leaders are required. Future led ready means that when they are in the college, the final year, they can take the CAPM, Certified Associate in Project Management. Imagine you want to teach your children when they are young how to do understand balancing. That's how they learn how to ride a bicycle. Imagine you try to learn how to ride a bicycle at the age of 30. How would it feel? If you fell, I'm sure you will definitely break a few bones, right? But when you're young, 4 or 5 years old, that's when you can learn how to ride a bicycle much better, much easier. Similarly, the same concept goes. So what we have done, we are introducing from campus to corporate journey is made easy. They become a corporate leader very young age. So right at the when they are graduating, they can understand, manage scope, quality, cost, and execute on time, doing things right. That's about project management. But then you go to PMP. That's where everybody, which is the gold standard by PMI today, 1.5 million PMPs are there, right? But look at this. Out of all this, only there are under 10,000 people who are certified PGMP. I would say at least there should have been 150,000. So we are at the only 8%. 8% the capacity which is required for program managers in the world. Only 8%. So I see a bigger scope, big room for people to grow in the ladder, especially because people are stuck. People are stuck in the middle layer. They're stuck at project manager level. They're stuck in the war room, but they never have courage to break those barriers to get into jump into boardroom discussions. And we have created that roadmap. And that's what we do with the companies. And then you go to, and then portfolio level, there are only 3,000 portfolio certified people. Like myself, there are only few in the world, but few can't do nothing because it's like too thin. So you need to put like a chimney within your own system. Otherwise, if you don't have a good chimney, then the fire, the smoke is going to be stuck in your house. And that's what your chaos you're dealing with in the every corporate I deal with, right? So that's what we do for companies. That's what we create companies where we create the entire spectrum, getting right things done, right way, and doing them right. So we have mapped portfolio, program, and project management and PM for all. This what we do. We just did something PM for all, project management for everybody in the company. We just did it for a company. So what I'm trying to say here, you could be qualified for CAPM, PMP, PGMP, PFMP. Talk to us. Trust me before you make any single
Well, Ben,
penny investment.
When I want to interject over here is that everyone looks at the PMP, but these are all the certifications offered by PMI. Many people we have found are actually can be qualified for PGMP or even for PFMP. So are you really going for the right certification? Sometimes if you're not going for the right certification, that's one of the reasons you're not continuing with the certification process. So really look at your skill set and what are the other certifications. Many of you would be qualified for PGMP level too. So carry on.
Great, wonderful. Yeah, so you are with me. You got your back. I got your back, by the way,
We got your
because
back.
I we got your back. Especially, put for if there, I'm sure on this call, out of all these people who are there, I will say 10% PFMP, 20% PFMP are sitting already, but they don't know. Nobody told them because somebody sold them PMP. So everybody's just going because imagine you go with the PMP certification and you should have gotten it 20 years back. I don't know, it promotes you or demotes you. I have no idea. People start questioning at workplace. Anyways, sorry to put this, but only the truth will come from this webinar. By the way, look at this guy. The gentleman is attending my session 16 years back, and just last year in December, he reaches out to me. Hey, Upendra, I wanted to reach out to you for PMP training in Delhi. Many years back, I attended your session for PMP certification. It was a good program and helped me a lot later on in my career. Now I need it for my team. So we did PM for all, actually, for the whole company. And guess what? It was delight, such a delight to transform, elevate, and succeed with the PM culture transformation in the entire company. So we're building brick by brick. This company makes tunnels in mountains and very sharp engineers. It was a session in Delhi, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. So let's hear from the gentleman. I think, tell me if you can
It's
hear.
been
Can
15,
you hear?
16 years back that we met for the first time, and the impression
Can you hear, guys, or no?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear.
when
Okay, good.
it's been 15, 16 years back that we met for the first time, and the impression was so strong that I remembered him after 16 years, and finally we could reconnect. 2009, I thought of looking for something to improve my project management skill. What was most impressive about the program was the content certainly was, but the person was more interesting. After 15 years, I was sitting with my team, and we'd been talking about having a project management primer for our team. We found Mr. Giri on LinkedIn, and I think within 10 minutes he replied. They curated a program for us. We conducted a 2-day PM for all program. My feedback was people gained a lot out of that. So, and we intend to do some things together to improve basically improve the skills of people.
Okay. So, question, I think it's been poll had been already run, right? Probably not. So why are you considering the PMP certification today?
what is your why? What is your why for for considering the PMP certification? You can take the poll. That would be great.
No, I think if the people can just type in the, is it for money? It is for they're not being challenged. It's just they are stuck in the current role. I think uh, if you can
So,
just,
yeah, let's continue while they respond. Do you
okay,
see the results
the
of
poll
it?
is, yes, I can see the poll. Um, what happens if the moment it comes in, I see a black screen. Anyways,
Yeah.
so 22%. So we can end the poll, or poll is done. Okay,
Yeah,
poll
and the
is coming
poll,
in.
and then you see the
Yeah.
results.
All right, guys, finish your poll if you can, so that we can, out of only 12 participated out of 19. Guys who are sitting on the fence, please go ahead and answer these questions so that we can finish it. You got it? But we got the perspective, right? Uh, uh, so 33, one third said career advancement, 58% said gaining new skills and knowledge, and only 8% says increasing job security. That's a good news that you have so much confidence in yourself. Two other two, we will take care of it. Once you take, by the way, good thing is that first you take care of first two, third one is taken care of anyways.
Exactly. Okay, wonderful.
Great. All right, I think let's move on and then go to the next part of the session. As you know, PMP certification is Forbes says it, CIO magazine says it, everybody says it. In North America, you have a potential of making $143,000 a year. That's what Forbes says, and this has become the gold standard. Even companies want PMPs. Why? Why they want PMPs is because employer wants to see verified experience and professionalism, because you go through the rigorous process of getting the certification under your belt. And project success, of course, because you have followed the proven methodologies to reduce risk and improve outcomes. By the way, it's not output only, because it used to be earlier managing deliverables. It's about managing outcomes now. Companies want effective leadership and collaboration. And there's a lot of emphasis on communication and people skills and power skills, which we talk about in the workshop. Agile and hybrid readiness. Training in hybrid and agile approaches, because that without that, even 50%, the Seema is going to talk about it shortly. So I leave it to her. Cost efficiency and risk mitigation, because resources, and so after going through this program, I have started noticing the project to management mental shift happens from a resource utilization perspective uh, towards resourcefulness. There's a huge difference, guys. And those are the things which we talk about. How do you become more resourceful rather than just depending on select few in the company? Competitive advantage. Okay, PMP signals commitment to quality and professionalism. Talent development, of course, many companies use HRP professionals use this as a baseline for rewarding, awarding, and incremental for professionals. IBM, for years and years, they would have a target for end of the year. People will go pass the exam, and then they will submit to HR, and they will get 15, 20, 25% incremental in their salaries. And by the way, it's a global consistency on delivery. It's assured because you go through the process. With this, Seema, this is all your play now.
Thank you so much, Abin. Great insights. Okay, so now let's talk about what is the PMP certification roadmap.
All right.
Okay, so first you need, as you know, you need to get the 35 contact hours. Once you do that, you complete your application to PMI where you showcase all the project management experience that you have. And then while you're waiting for the approval from them, once you get the approval from them, you can make your payment for your exam and then you can schedule your exam. Once you schedule your exam, well, actually, once you've completed your application, you start the study process, you start preparing for your exam. That's going through the content and then taking your mock test, your practice test, and you confidently walk into the exam and you pass on the first attempt and receive your certification. So in a nutshell, that is the entire PMP certification process. This is the roadmap. So let's talk about some of the prerequisites that you need to have. So if you have a bachelor's degree, you need a minimum of 3 years or 36 months of non-overlapping experience. So if you're working on two projects at the same time, like many of you would be, that's not going to be counted. It has to be ones that you've done sequentially and finished that. And you would not need to show, you can use any project in the last 8 years. And you would need to show that you have experience in the 5 process groups that the acronym I use is IPEC. Initiation, planning, execution. First C is for monitoring and control, and the last C is for closing process. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, then no worries, you can have an associate's degree or a high school diploma, but you need to have at least 5 years or 60 months of same unique non-overlapping projects. So again, the projects you finished sequentially, anywhere from the last 8 years. And you have to have the 35 contact hours of formal project management education, or if you already have the CAPM certification, then that's going to serve as your prerequisite for the formal education part. So what are we being tested on? We are tested on this is the PMI's talent triangle, the ways of working, business acumen, and power skills. Ways of working, this is really about mastering your predictive, agile, and hybrid approaches, and you get to choose what is the right approach for your outcomes. Then power skills is really about your leadership, skills, and how you interact with others and how you're able to manage the expectation. Then comes the business acumen. This is really about understanding your industry, your domain, and how your organization works. You know, the politics of it, where is the power played, really understanding what are the influences that impact the organization, the industry, which in turn impacts your projects. So now let's look at what are we being tested on. So we're being tested on three types of project management approaches, right? We talked about earlier, waterfall, the traditional method, where it follows a structured sequence and a linear approach. We have agile, which is really focusing on prioritizing flexibility and teamwork and self-leadership, and hybrid, where you get to choose the best of both worlds. For different components of your project, you can have waterfall, the predictive method, and agile. So that offers you a lot of flexibility. Let's talk about the exam. What is a pattern? So you have 180 scenario-based questions. You'll have your classic multiple choice questions, multiple responses, they're matching, hotspots, and I also believe fill in the blanks as well. Right? You have a duration of 230 minutes, nearly 4 hours. And best part is you get to have two 10-minute breaks that is not counted against your time. When I took it, we didn't have that option. And the other good news is that you're only going to be scored on 175 questions because 5 of those questions are going to be your test question that PMI likes to throw out and test the things of level of difficulty. But unfortunately, you're not going to know which 5 questions you're not going to be scored on. So, you have to do your best on all of them. The questions don't follow any particular order or process. It's going to be mixed. So the idea is they want to know how do you apply the best practices in different kind of situations. So it's no longer about memorization and knowing all the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs, but how do you apply those things? Okay, next. Would you like to know what's the percentage of the questions? Well, Ben already showed you, so let's go ahead with that. It's helpful to know. So for process, about I guess it equates to about 52% of the questions are going to come from your process, right? Majority of the questions are going to come from there. The breakup is 25% is going to be from predictive, 10% is going to be from agile, and 14% from hybrid. The next big chunk is going to be from people. 21% from predictive, 10% from agile, and 11% from hybrid. And you notice that the business acumen only has a total of 8%. So you might think, Seema, I don't have to study that much. You do need to study that too. We take that for granted, but you do need to really understand that because that is really going to impact how you run your project. So you really need to understand the top objective of having those particular questions. Again, as the vendor had said earlier, people really are really confused around agile and hybrid, particularly if they have not been using that in their work to yet, although life is like that. So let's go to the next slide, Ben. Your PMP application, this is a sample of what kind of information you want there. You have project title, start and finish date, what kind of approach you've used, what is your team size, your project budget, project description. Also, you need to have what your supervisor was. And when you're filling out the application and you're writing down who your supervisor was or who someone who could verify that you worked on that project, let them know that you're applying for this and you're putting their name because sometimes they do get information. PMI does reach out to them. So if they know beforehand, they know how to position you. And you can fill this out on PMI.org. We help you through the application process too. And if you're the lucky one, you might get chosen to be audited by PMI. It's just random. About 20 to 25% get picked. But no worries around that. They just want additional documentation and they will tell you what they want from you. The typical things are, copies of your degree or diploma, signature from your supervisor, and copies of the 35 contact hour certification from where you received it. So not too big deal, but it does take a little bit of time. So have those things ready beforehand. Now let's talk about the fee structure that you need for the exam. The membership fee, these are for these are for the US pricing. Please check in your country, like, every country has a different pricing, they make it, uh, local friendly, so, please check your country. So this is for US membership fee is $164, certification fee for members is $425, for non-members is $675. Now, many people ask, is it really worth being a member? I'd say yes, I'm still a member, since 2007. And you get to be part of the community, you get a lot of resources, a lot of studies, a lot of white papers, you get to write the white papers too, if you like, a lot of on-demand webinars, which is gonna help you maintain your certification. So your total cost of certification, if you are a member, is $589, and all of this can be taken care of online. So, PMI certifications are all active certifications. They want to make sure that you are always relevant and you have up-to-date knowledge of the best practices as things do evolve. So every 3 years, we need to renew our certification with 60 PDUs, which is professional development units. So for every 1 hour of 1 hour of study, you get 1 hour, one PDU, one professional development unit. So over the next 3 years, after you take pass your exam, you need to get the 60 units. Now, if you're a member, the renewal fee is $60. If you're a non-member, it's $150. So it's your PDUs, 60 PDUs plus the fee to renew your certification.
All right, Seema, from here, let me just give the perspective why Abil, your business agility partner of choice. So, by the way, we are not only a training company. You must have noticed by now that we not only train, we take the guarantee of transformation on individual teams and enterprises. So, from an enterprise perspective, we set up PMOs for their deployment and optimization. We do deploy PPM, project program and portfolio management capabilities in the companies, and we lead the organizational change management at large scale. You know, so we have had more than 500 customers served, which are enterprise customers in last 25 years in more than 25 countries. And on an individual level, we have trained more than 100,000 professionals like yourself. And these are some of the reflections. It makes me, my heart swells actually, especially when I look at this slide, because it gives me the reflection. When I used to be a young guy. If you look at it's a cutting from a newspaper. When I took this concept, 2002, 2003, I was published in the Economic Times, the largest news circulation in India, a printed version. Just in time for Indian companies, Upendra Giri put a big bet on project management, and it paid off. This was for 2002, guys. And PMI CEO, I hosted him first time ever for PMI coming to India, and that led to huge transformation. And we had been so proud to be part of the journey with PMI. It's been whether police reform, irrigation reform, various reform, we had been part and parcel of the journey. So with Microsoft, we have led more than 100 PMOs since 2002 to 2013. Then we ended up, of course, during this process, set up PMI North India chapter. And then also this award was given by PMI, and that was in 2009. And PMI Gragris Valestro had to say something, but let me just share. These are some of the customers which we have serviced in the past. This is a very short list, but let me play this small video which will give you the perspective.
And now, the PMI Eric Jeanette Project Management Excellence Award. This award is named after Eric Jeanette, one of the PMI founders who served as president, as chairman, and secretary of PMI in the 70s. He was instrumental to the creation of PMI regional seminars.
The Eric Jeanette Project Management Excellence Award recognizes an individual who makes an outstanding contribution to the project management profession through an act that demonstrates leadership and initiative while advancing project management concepts, practices, and theories. Mr. Upendra Giri has been instrumental in laying down the foundation for project management practices in India. He is the founder and trustee of PMI North India chapter and the charter member of TIE, the Indus Entrepreneurs. Mr. Giri has served as a trusted mentor for government bodies and public sector organizations, helping them select the right projects and create framework for project management implementation. Many government institutions, such as the National Informatics Center, an organization responsible for total IT support of all governments of India, and the Irrigation Department, attributed their project success to the right project management implementations guided by Mr. Giri.
Our Eric Jeanette Project Management Excellence Award recipient, Upendra Giri.
Well, while we build up competence, we give back in a professional manner. We also give back for folks who go through the programs with us. So we do on ongoing basis, we do PM Inside lecture series where people like you will come and share your wisdom, your story, your inspirational journey with us and with the audience. So please reach out to for this particular web seminar we do. These are PM lecture series. If you have if you want to share a case study, you want to share your own journey, we'd love to hear from you as part of this. So past events, you can get a glimpse of it, but reach out to us for sure. Put in the chat that you would be interested to be a speaker, in one of the sessions. Well, let's play why choose us. Let's hear.
I owe the success of being a decent manager and further into the career to Upendra Giri sir, because when I met him, I was on the edge of getting into the managerial line or the track. And he guided me, he mentored me, not just for PMP certification, but even from the practical stuff. What should be your mindset? But how should you operate? His objective was not to get a PMP certification done. His objective was to create a good manager in the IT industry. I have been hearing a small phrase for last 8-10 years worded as customer success. But honestly speaking, I mean it. I have seen it in action during the year 2010 when you guys again helped me to get the PMP certification done. So you guys just don't focus on the certification or the training. You guys just empower the new members of your family to be successful. So that's what I have seen. Our success is your success. That has been your motto for Astrovix and Upbuild. And I can easily vouch for yourself, for Upendra Giri sir, and for the entire team that, guys, once you will join here, nothing will be left behind to stop you getting that success. Second thing is you and Upendra Giri sir both have this kind of magnetic personality. Once they will beat you, no one can ever forget either of you. I owe.
All right, guys, enough of stuff. Seema, you want to take this thing?
Yeah, so let's talk about how we support you to get your 35 contact hours. There's so if you are ready for hands-on guided PMP certification path, and if you are, okay, you need to go to the next. Ready to use the real world frameworks with real-time feedback and get end-to-end support from application to certification success, then the PMP Fast Track is going to be a great option for you. So you've heard about our background, and Ben had shared earlier that those people who take the exam with us, or take the course with us, and they've seen 98% of people have seen that they passed in the first exam. So let's talk about what's actually included. What is the content that we covered? This is all based on PMI's exam content outline. Okay, so there's no longer that you just read one book. We do have PMBOK, but along with PMBOK, they have created exam content outline exactly what we're going to cover. So we're going to talk about the business environment. Within the business environment, we look at your things that factor your company from external factors and how they impact your project. We'll talk about initiating the project. How do you start your project? Then we go into how do we plan for the project. And we cover all aspects of planning the project. This is one of the longest content in under planning the project. Then we go do a deep dive in executing the project, then monitoring and control, and then closing. These are the key areas that we really focus on the exam content outline. So we take a deep dive into that. When we start, we do a baseline exam to really understand where are you as of today. Then we go through the whole curriculum, and then we do, we use some real life examples, case studies. People actually bring in some of their own situation that they're trying to deal with and overcome, and we look at that as well. We provide various kinds of project templates as well as Q&As after the sessions, and then we do another exam at the end, a simulation exam, and then we see what your growth has been from your baseline exam to your simulation exam, and then again after that, what are the areas that you personally would need to focus on. So after that, we see that Nathan here, he was pretty amazing that he took the exam right after our 4-day workshop, right? He really made me really work really hard because we went through every single question on the simulation exam we had. He asked me to review every single one of them, which enabled him to take the exam right after our 4 days and pass it on the first attempt. And that was all the studying he did. So that was his style of learning, which we were able to cater to. So next is what's really included in our fast track. So you particularly because we get asked so often to take the course, right, to do the training, that Ubin and I are the primary ones that do the training. We do have other trainers. You have access to the session for up to 1 year, but I highly encourage, if you're working with me, I want you to see your certification 6 months max, no longer than that. You'll have access to 5 sets of mock exams, and then you'll also get our course materials, and we support you on the application part, right? The application can be a little bit difficult. You have to use some of these project management terminologies to really show that. You have to show that you've been leading and directing a project, and then we have several other events and forums going on, like our lecture series, to provide the ongoing support. And then depending on where you are on your study journey, we provide that accountability support. So this is a certification you get from us, the 35 contact hours, which is then going to lead you to get this wonderful certification with your name on it, and we celebrate with you. Okay, so as we have shared earlier, that once people are getting their certification, they have seen, this is real-time data, this is this year's data, that PMI has done the research that 33% the people have gotten a 33% increase in their salary. So where do you see that kind of a return in other investments in a short period of time, right? So we see that the companies that are hiring, they're from all kinds of industries, from defense to IT to energy, manufacturing, construction, government. So it's really, really the opportunities are there. And many times they are requiring people to have the certification. So question is, now you need to make a decision. Are you ready to take the next step forward? Or what is that next step for you that you need to take? So We love to work with people who are really focused and really ready to take the next steps to accelerating in their career, who are committed to really put in the time and effort, right? And if they're tired of trying to figure everything out on their own. Yesterday, I was talking to someone and she says, Sivan, so many companies are saying there's shortcuts. There are shortcuts to pass the exam. And the best shortcut we have found is to help you align with your own natural studying ability and pattern. But if you don't put in the time and effort, you're not going to pass. You're not going to get that result. And if you do pass like that, if you find some shortcut, let me know. But if you do pass in that, you still need to perform at work, right? You're getting hired because they think that you know the best practices and you know how to apply them. You have to perform at work. So if you don't put in the work, you don't know the material, you don't know the information, how are you going to be applying it? So we want to make sure that you don't fail at any of those points, right? If you're ready to have accountability partner and the guidance, and if you are ready to take a step, we invite you to work with us in our PMP Fast Track. We would love to support you in your journey. So our next workshop is coming up. This is one of our the most requested because it is over 8-day period. It's going to be 4 hours a day for the next 8 days, starting June 23rd, which is that Monday? That's Monday. Well, it's right around the
Yes.
corner. June 23rd to July 3rd, and the next one is our 4-day weekend workshop, which is on July 12th and 13th and 19th and 20th. So what pace do you like? Do you like the slower pace of 8 days, or do you want to get it done over 2 weekends? The weekend classes are going to be 8 hours each day. All right. So the next question is, next poll, and you can let us know in the chat. What is holding you back from getting the PMP certification? Was it the knowledge? What is it? We are curious to know, so we can hopefully address that or answer some of that for you if we can during this time, and really help you move forward. Whether you join us or you join someone else, we are really interested in helping you take the next step, be in momentum, and get it done, get certified. Let the benefits of enjoy the benefits of the PMP certification sooner rather than later, right? We have seen from COVID, other life events, but COVID, we all felt it at once that we don't know what tomorrow's like, right? We don't know what to expect. There's so much uncertainty. So don't wait for later. Wait for now and see those benefits now. Right? So please let us know in the chat what is holding you back, if anything, right? If nothing is holding you back and you're ready to take that next step, whatever that next step is for you, let us know in the chat. Give me your favorite emoji. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Give me your favorite emoji if you're ready to go to the next level. Okay, so when you register with us for the next workshop, whether it's thank you, Terry, you know, these are the additional bonuses you get. We give you the personalized application guide, right? This is not a simple 15-20 minute. This has taken us up to 2 hours per person because of the questions they had and making sure that we're writing the experience in the right way, right? We say 297 value, but it's much more than that, right? We do one-on-one coaching session, right? That is a $500 value per session. We say we'll give one, but it ends up that we end up giving a little bit more because we really want to make sure that you end up, you get everything in order, we have your questions answered, and you know how to tackle the questions and be really ready for the exam. We're giving you the mock exam bundle, we give you, the additional sets for extended period of time, and then of course the community, which is, I say is priceless, right? We have the community, you get the support from us for anything and for whatever period you need. So our webinar special, our regular price is $14.97, but because you've taken the time to be here, we wanted to give you a webinar special. And the webinar special is for Father's Day special. Don't worry, you don't need, if you're not a parent, it's all right. You still get a Father's Day, because we're parents, we're empty nesters now. So because Father's Day was just the last weekend, Father's Day special is $7.97. Okay, so the next step that you would need to do, our team member is going to give you a link to our calendar, right? You link to our calendar so we can have a conversation and really understand from you what your goals are and make sure that we are the right fit before we work together, right? So once we understand that we both are right fit for each other, then we'll give you the link for the payment, right? So it's an additional $700 savings for you. So we've done this to help you invest in yourself. So I think we just had a couple of polls. So the question is, do you still feel stuck at this point? If you do, let us know what it is. Sometimes we found that if people are still feeling stuck, that's because they may not be aligned to their life's purpose, right? So have a look around that. Where are you feel out of alignment? We can support you with that as well. Sometimes it's fear of identity shift and losing control because you're stepping into the next role. When you step into the next role, there's higher expectations, people expect more of you, and sometimes that can be scary. Believe me, I've been there, done that, we know how that feels. So we can help you see what the blocks and fears are around that and help you unblock that. Because believe me, it's just temporary. When you see it from a different perspective, you will be ready for that too. And if you're not taking action, if you're going from webinar to understand things, what is it really costing you by not taking the action and just going for it, right? You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in your ability to take on this difficult project and just take the next step. So we understand the way economy is, the way situation is, that people may be in a tight situation. So don't let that stop you. Talk to us. We're resourceful, we're creative, we've been able to co-create things with the people to get them to the next step. So talk to us. Don't let finances hold you back. We also, part of the mock exams we've been talking about is through our PMP exam accelerator, where you get to practice the questions so you can perform better and pass faster. And for those of you who have already taken the contact hours and you're looking for more practice exams, the PMP Exam Accelerator is also a standalone, which is only $68. We made it really easy. It's only $68 for a 90-day session, and you can always renew if you need more. So let us know in the chat if you would like the link for that. Okay. So this would be the best time to schedule your certification clarity call with us. Our team member Ahmed has already put the link in the chat. We have special times open for the next couple of days. So this is one that really gets filled up quickly. So make sure that you schedule something today for whenever it is comfortable for you in the next couple of days. But this clarity call is absolutely free with no obligation. So make sure you take that opportunity. So, Ubain, why don't you finish us off with this?
Guys, you heard us, you've seen what is happening. I think the best way to, because we try and live in the future most of the times, and the best way to do this by creating it. And creation is in the hands of the change agents, change makers. And project management is such a field which gives you the capability not only to live the future today, in a personal life, professional life, or a social life, doesn't matter. people apply project management capabilities in all sphere of their life. I do day in, day out. So the way I see it, you need to be a person who can see the future, and you need to build the resilience and grit, right? And persuasive storytelling is definitely required, and experimentative mindset. I think that's what's going to define people who are going to be followers or people who are going to be change makers. One thing is for sure, it's the choice which you make today, the chance you take today to change the life forever. That's what our mission is. So embark on the journey. We would be more than happy to help you schedule those calls. And today, a very special announcement for those people who have failed, attempted the PMP exam and failed. So you need to show me that you appeared, you failed. For that, we would be able to extend this another $200 of value to you. So basically 799, 797, it would be 599 for those people who show to us, I will take the ownership of sailing through with you in next 7 weeks. And I will see to it that you have a certification in your hand. You can't make more commitment than that. So drop that text, have a session. So, Ahmed, can you put my calendar link back again, for especially for those people who recently failed in last 1 year? Reason could be whatever. So let's do that. With this, we bring this thing to closer, guys. Let's look at some of the questions. So we can take although we are left with 1 minute as far what we promised for 75-minute session, officially in 1 minute, we get over with the content which we had to share with you. So much to be shared, right? So, but the questions, you have questions, you are curious to
We'd be
know
happy
more.
to take your questions now, and we'll stay until we answer all of your questions that you have right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So either let us know in the chat, or you can unmute and ask us verbally. In the meantime, this is our contact information, so we would love it if you stayed in touch, and if we could support you in any way, do let us know.
Yeah. Melvin, yes, we spoke. Melvin, I hope we answered your questions, or if you have any question, we can get on a call. Barbara, Barbara was there, right? You know, Barbara, yes. So Barbara, you and I spoke, yes, of course. Barbara, you have few things to say? Are you still there?
I'm still here. Yes, thank you. So I answered in one of your surveys that I'm not. I'm moving away from big corporate America. Um, I am gonna be retaking my certification so that I can apply it to several volunteer organizations that I work with. So
Right.
applying all of this with a different hat on rather than technology and corporate America. So um, I'm looking forward to getting my certification again.
So when you say recertification, means that you got your certification some time back, right? I wanted to make it clear.
I did. I have my certification for 25 years, and I let it
Wow,
drop
wow.
for the past 2 years. And
Oh,
I have, yes. So I have since had a change of heart to come back to PMI. And examples are the volunteer organizations that I work with. So yes.
that's a great
Wonderful.
initiative, Barbara. Good for you for, this is certainly applicable to not just corporate America, but for small companies, small businesses, um, nonprofits, so wonderful. When do you plan on taking the exam?
So that you guys worded it very nicely. So yeah, what's holding me back? I have to have this discussion with myself. Yeah, I'm might be in that 7-week window that you guys have been talking about.
Okay.
So
No, that's
I
because
think that's
it's like yeah,
go
Barbara,
ahead.
what I see, it's like things get done today in mission mode. That's the only thing I know. You have a mission in front of you, and you just have to nail it. Because
Right.
something will walk up to you that use me as an excuse not to do it.
Right.
Trust me.
Yes. Yes. I totally
So, yeah,
understand.
Barbara, I would suggest, sometimes, if you want to have a more private conversation on what's holding you back, do have a schedule a call with us, because sometimes it's just a small tweak, a small shift, right? And sometimes we
Mhm.
don't even know what's holding us back until we have a conversation. And sometimes have a conversation out loud with yourself,
Yes.
not
Yes.
in your
Definitely.
head, but out loud, that would
Yeah.
help too.
Definitely. When you talk to somebody and they give you back one response, then a different response, and then you go, "Oh, okay, I didn't think about that one." Or, yeah. So.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Uh,
wonderful.
I, I see Malvin, I see the request has already come to me at 12:15. You and I are meeting, but you want to communicate any message to people here on the call who would benefit from your 20 plus years of experience which you have?
You talking to me still?
Oh, Malvin,
Oh,
I'm talking to
Melvin.
Malvin.
Okay.
Good
Yes,
afternoon.
Malvin.
Hello,
Good
hello.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, all. Um, well, I just want to put this out here that I'm sort of in a gray area. I recently completed my 35 contract hours with another vendor. And recently, in transition from a project management position with a small healthcare company, I really need to complete the PMP to get myself back into the market. I like what I've heard today, but I was wondering how we could actually tailor it to fit my particular need, right? Um, so I guess we'll have to have that discussion and see what can happen moving forward.
So when you go to a tailor master, when you asked me a tailor word, right? So what happens? There are only the suit is ready, by the way. It's just that it has to fit your size so that you look cool, you look good, right? Because everybody learns very differently, right? So there's some tweaking, some adjustment needs to be done, and that's the commitment we make to people that based on because learning happens in different ways, right? Especially agile aspect of it, 50% questions come from agile and hybrid, and if you're not necessarily practice them in real life, then you will struggle. Most people will struggle because of that reason, right? But those are the ways we modify the approach. How do we learn, and then how we apply, and then we pass the exam. The whole idea is that. So the let's talk at
Yeah,
12:15 with you. We have a call, but thanks for pointing it out. Uh, you got it covered,
one
my
thing
friend.
I want to say is, people have invested 75 minutes here. So what is that one thing you're going to implement or take action with? Too many steps doesn't always work. So I want to hear, what is that one key takeaway you have that you're going to now implement or take action on? You can write in the chat, or just um let us know. Just unmute and let us know. Like, time is one thing that's so precious that once utilized, you can never get back. So I always like to make sure that you walk away with one thing that you're going to do from our time we spent together.
Cool. Let's see. Any other question?
Commitment to allotting uninterrupted study hours. Yes, Melvin. Good. Thank you. How about Cody and Terry, Mirza, Latoya, Christopher? You guys all have been really quiet. Marinius.
Somebody just joined the session. I think they got probably
Either they
missed
got
out.
off or
Yeah, yeah.
What is that one key takeaway you had? And what's one action you're going to take? If you don't want to let us know, that's okay, but do think about it. Do think about it yourself and take that action. Well, thank you all. Thank you for joining us. Reach out to us if we can support you in any way. Learn the benefits and barriers. Great, Terry. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So have an amazing day. Weekend is coming up, so have an amazing weekend. Hopefully get some rest, and relaxation. Recommit to yourself, know your why, and commit to yourself for taking that one action that you're promising yourself from our time together today. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Have a
Bye.
wonderful weekend. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye.